Okay, let's go ahead and finish up this series of podcasts, kind of going back to where we started, and that was in the first one we wrote a program to try to calculate the average of multiple temperature readings that were given to us over multiple days. And in that first program, we went ahead and declared those in 6 different variables. Now that we know how to do an array, I imagine we would do it differently because we know that we can do that exact same thing by doing this. And now instead of having 6 lines of code to declare these variables, we can create one variable or one array that contains all 6 of those. And the next thing that we did inside that one is we went ahead and just started writing the arithmetic, right? And we can do it the exact same way if we want to. We can say temps 0 plus temps 1, etc., all the way through, and then we can divide the thing by temps.length, and that will give us the average. And that's one way to do it. But a cleaner way to do it would be to use a loop, because you can imagine, since we have a predictable index, 0 through 5 in this case, and we know that we have loops that will allow us to go, that'll iterate through an array for the length number of times using an if statement or a for statement, or we can do a for each, which will just handle that for us, which we're going to go ahead and do. For x in temps, right? Here's our loop. And I'm going to go ahead and copy in some code that you guys will be familiar with because we've been using this code in our other examples. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit more just so you can see it all. So same thing here, right? For index 0 contains 67. So here's all of our temperatures on the right hand side here and the index that contains them. And what we can also be doing as this iterates through is we can go ahead and start keeping a total. Now in order to do this, we want to keep a running total. Now as you guys remember before, when we did running totals in one of the previous weeks, you need to save that total as a global variable, or at least outside of the for loop, so that it can have a running total that keeps getting added to each time it runs through. And then we'll go ahead and use our assignment operator, the plus equals, right, which is basically total equals total plus. And then we want to go ahead and start adding all of the temperatures to this. So in this case, we would be temps x, right? So if we're doing that, might be fun to go ahead and do another running total, or we can go ahead and see the total getting added up. Document.write, and we can say current total equals plus total. And now when it runs, well, it might be useful to do our line break in there, just so that we can not have these things all running into each other. So now you can see as it goes, the current total is 67, and 147, then 203, then 277, and it goes all the way through until the total on the very last one equals 411. And now that we've got our total of all 6 of these all together, we can go in here and do the average. So var average is going to equal the total divided by, see if you guys guessed it, temps dot length, right? So if we do that, and we do one last document dot write, and we'll say average temp plus average, and we'll see what we get. Average temp is 68.5. Now we can go ahead and just play with this a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and add a line break. You know what, let's go ahead and add a paragraph around that one, because that will make it a little bit, give us a little extra space in there to see what's going on. We'll do a closing paragraph tag just to be precise. So we've got average temp equals 68.5. Now that we have this code, which we couldn't have done with the other with our original code, it would have been a little bit difficult to go through and add a new temperature. Say they come back to us a month from now and say, hey, I've got 15 now that I want you to calculate this time, or I've got 12, whatever the period they're wanting you to look at. And it's as simple as you add an in. Probably not going to be that low, but right, and you notice each time we add one of these, it adds another index, and the total increases. The average temp gets recalculated on the fly. And that's pretty cool, because even if we had done it the other way that I mentioned, where we started to just do the arithmetic by statically referencing the index, with temps 0 plus temps 1 plus temps 2, this wouldn't have worked either. So the for loop enables us to have a variable sized array, an unknown sized array, and we can pass in any sized array we want into this code here. So you could see here how we could write a function that calculates average temperature and could take any sized array into it and spit out the average temperature. Now, that's kind of cool and fun, and I hope that that gives you guys some clues and some ideas as to how you're going to do your programs over the next couple of weeks. I'm kind of excited to see how you do here. You've learned a lot of really great stuff over this semester. The functions are pretty powerful, and functions and arrays and all this stuff added together should make it pretty straightforward for you guys to finish out this semester strong. And we'll see you in the chat rooms, in the forums, and in office hours. Good luck.